I started to realize that people had actually put their entire life savings in Celsius.
Right.
And people were dependent upon Celsius for their retirement and their financial future.
Hello everyone, what's going on? I am Carlos, your normal guy. And yes, there have been developments. Celsius has published another public note, and Simon Dixon, who owns 5% of Celsius share, has given a 2 hours interview. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. To support the channel, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. It's July the 1st, 2022. Celsius Network has shared another public note. I'm going to read it out loud for you, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about it. July the 1st, and this is a official communication from Celsius Network. Across Celsius today, we're focused and working as quickly as we can to stabilize liquidity and operations in order to be positioned to share more information with the community. We are operating with the entire community and all clients in mind as we work through these challenging times. We continue to take important steps to preserve and protect assets and explore options available to us. These options include pursuing strategic transactions as well as a restructuring of our liabilities, among other avenues. These exhaustive explorations are complex and take time. But we want the community to know that our teams are working with experts from many different disciplines. Our relationship with the community and our clients has always been a source of pride for all team members at Celsius, and we will continue to share information with our customers as and when it becomes appropriate. In the end, they share contact details. Oh boy, they basically said nothing. They said nothing new. What's the point? Mashinsky was on YouTube, on Twitter every week. He was doing AMAs every week. He was telling you that banks are not your friends. He was telling us that the banks make the money and they don't share with you, but Celsius was going to share with you. We have been lied to. Even Dokwan was more considerate. He tweeted quite a few times after the collapse of Terra and Luna. Mashinsky and the Celsius team are basically giving a public note every 3 or 4 days saying nothing. This lack of communication, in my opinion, shows lack of care. And it opens a can of worms for all sorts of speculation and rumors. Celsius, you cannot be moaning and complaining about speculations and rumors if Mashinsky, Zach, and the team aren't really keeping us informed and at least showing us that they're actually trying their best to solve this very shitty situation. But hey, there is hope. If you've been following me, you've been seeing that I try to be realistic. Sometimes I'm too optimistic, and I've just watched an interview with Simon Dixon from Bank to the Future. He owns 5% of Celsius, and he spoke for 2 hours. You gotta watch that interview. I'm going to show some small sections of the interview to you. Check this out.
I'm a shareholder in Celsius. The company that I co-founded, banktothefuture.com, is the longest standing company in Bitcoin, and it's the world's first crypto securities business. We funded over 100 different companies from Kraken, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Coinbase, blockchain.com, Circle, some of the largest names in the industry. And we also did a funding round for Celsius, the Series A. Part of how I invest is diversify. And so I try to prepare for all outcomes. And one of my strategies is yield. So I had a percentage of my wealth on Celsius as part of my yield strategy.
Right.
And I published, the rewards that I was receiving to be transparent about that. And I also own shares in Celsius. So when this disaster happened, I was forecasting a yield and DeFi crackdown and letting people know that the next boom market from this after a yield and DeFi crackdown would probably be a securities boom. And that happened sooner than I thought it would happen. And obviously my deposits were on the line and my shareholder value was on the line.
So Simon is not a normal guy like you and me. He has deposits in Celsius and he's a shareholder of Celsius. He spoke a lot more. I'm going to show you a few more things. Check it out.
The direct messages just started coming through and they were heartbreaking.
Mm.
I started to realize that people had actually put their entire life savings in Celsius.
Right.
And people were dependent upon Celsius for their retirement and their financial future. And while I cannot do anything about that, by the end of this, I'd like to really give some tips from someone that's been completely broke, somebody that's lost their life savings and retirement in the past. So really, there's three ways of solving that, right?
Mm.
Either it's illiquid. If it's illiquid, then my perspective, again, not financial advice, is just wait it out. Hodl, wait for the system to unwrap itself. SCETH converts to ETH when it moves to proof of stake, and you just simply wait it out. And unfortunately, there's reputational damage.
Right.
There's financial anxiety in the time that you haven't got your deposits. There's lots of lessons learned. But if it's illiquid, if nothing major happens with those investments, then eventually you should be in a position where you can slowly withdraw some now, more funds come in, withdraw more funds come in, withdraw more. And that's really the illiquid solution. There's a difference between illiquid and insolvent. Insolvent is when you actually don't have enough deposits to meet all of the demands, in which case everyone that's demanding for Celsius, give me my money back, there isn't the money there. And so you really have two ways of dealing with it when you're in an insolvent situation: Mt. Gox or Bitfinex.
Right.
And those are your two choices. You either say, I'm out, we move to bankruptcy. And then TradFi, lawyers, advisors all take over, and the board no longer have any decision making in that process. Bankruptcy is that solution. Insolvency is where you say, I believe we still got something that we could do as a board. And so my job was to try and get those solutions in front of the board while they could still make that. My belief, speculation. I'm not a board member of Celsius. I'm not privy to the inside conversations. I believe that the board wanted to do a recovery. I believe TradFi wanted to take the conservative route. I did not want my deposits to be put in the hands of TradFi and bankruptcy proceedings. I thought it was best for my deposits to actually do a combination of an illiquid solution for the assets that are liquid and a financial innovation solution so that we can benefit in a very high risk way, like the Bitfinex, from any upside of what's left over. In order to do that, it required regulatory transparency, financial transparency, a willingness to move fast, to act fast, and to communicate and put PR there about the actual recovery plan. So this is when I came out. So what did I actually do? When I realized that this was happening, I silently said, right, you've engaged these advisors. I'll tell the advisors what I think they should do. And so that was my first approach. And I hoped that that was going to lead to something. When I realized that that was not leading to something, I then said, we can do it. Engage us to do it. We've done this before. We've got the experience. We'll take our entire team and put all of our efforts into doing what we think would be the best solution that we could come up with. We had a belief that our shares were worthless if depositors were not given a good solution. So our solution was focus on depositors, and then there'll be shareholder value. And if there's shareholder value, I don't own the tokens, then there may be token value, but my priority was depositors first, shareholders second, and then if there is a company, then the token might have something. I wanted to avoid bankruptcy. Now, when I realized that we weren't really getting anywhere, I started to detect speculation again, that there was a bit of a power play between what the board wanted and what the advisors wanted and what TradFi wanted. At that stage, I decided that the only thing I could do here is go onto Twitter. And when I went onto Twitter, I wanted to harness the community to let them know that there are solutions and that we need to unite and put more influence and pressure because we have over 5% in the company, and we can call a shareholder meeting and force a vote. Again, not legal advice. We just believe, I've been moving as fast as we can, that we could use our shareholding in order to force this. And this is when I started to get an offer to become an internal member. And then I took the opinion that me being an internal member meant that I'd have to go silent. I wouldn't be able to support the community in the way that I'd like to support it. It would give me less influence to do what I thought would be right for depositors, which would then retain some shareholder value. So that was the point when I decided to go public and go on Twitter.
So if you're one of those guys that have been saying, it's gone, you lost your money, you might be wrong. If you're one of those guys that have been saying, hey, just hang in there, you might also be wrong. Simon himself has suggested several ingenious ways of overcoming this difficult situation, but still, anything can happen. Needless to say that his video has given us hope. I strongly recommend you to watch his interview in full. He gives a lot of insight on several aspects of the crypto industry. He's been in crypto for over 10 years. I mean, his company has been in crypto for over 10 years, so it's huge. You can find his interview in the Digital Asset News channel with danteachercrypto.com. Guys, that's it for today. I've been following this thread very closely and I'll keep posting updates as they come. If you haven't yet liked, leave your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. From your normal guy, Carlos. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.